Welcome to Crafting Made Simple. You're joining us today for a burst of creative inspiration, all centered around those soon-to-be colorful treasures, Easter eggs. You shared some fantastic ideas with us that we found over on the Paperflow Designs blog, and honestly, there's a real treasure trove of ways to move beyond just, the basic dip die. Quick note before we dive in, if you love getting creative tips and project ideas like these, definitely sign up for the Crafting Made Simple newsletter. You'll find a link right there in the description. It's the perfect way to stay inspired. And with me today to explore all these fantastic ideas is our resident expert.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be back and ready to dive into some really imaginative Easter egg decorations.
Fantastic to have you. So our mission today really is to unpack some of the most intriguing and I think accessible egg decorating techniques from Paperflow Designs. Give everyone some fantastic options to try this year. We're going to look at everything from like natural dyes to adding a bit of glam, making sure your Easter eggs are truly unique. Okay, let's kick things off with something that sounds absolutely dreamy. The pastel watercolor technique. What stood out to you about this one?
Well, what's really interesting here is how it encourages a softer, kind of more artistic approach, Instead of those really bold single color eggs, this technique brings in this delicate blend of hues. It's almost like a subtle wash.
Oh, yeah.
It invites a much more personalized and, gentle aesthetic.
That's so true. And it really speaks to that desire to create something unique, doesn't it? Like, no two watercolor eggs will look exactly the same.
Exactly.
I imagine it's quite relaxing just watching the colors blend.
Definitely. And for achieving that lovely soft blending, the key is really working with very diluted colors. Think almost like adding just a touch of color to water. Food-safe watercolors or even like highly diluted food coloring would probably work well. Applying thin layers and letting each one partially dry before adding another, that's what helps stop the colors getting all muddy and helps create that really beautiful blended effect.
Right, layering. Okay, now for something completely different and wonderfully eco-friendly, using vegetables for natural dyes. This one really caught my eye.
Yeah, this is a fantastic option. And what's really cool is how it connects us back to more traditional ways of coloring things. Plus, it's a wonderful way to get kids involved, maybe teach them a bit about natural resources, and like you said, much more sustainable.
Exactly. The Paperflow Designs blog, it highlights some great examples. Beets for that lovely red, spinach for green, and, good old onion skins for yellow. It's amazing what's just in the kitchen.
It really is. And the blog goes into pretty specific detail on using a red cabbage and blueberries, which is quite interesting. It's not just a quick dip. There's a real process to extracting those colors. Makes you appreciate the pigments.
Yeah, tell us more about that process. The materials list seemed pretty straightforward.
It is, mostly. You'll need your hard-boiled eggs, obviously, half a head of red cabbage, a cup of blueberries, couple of medium pots, water, and white vinegar.
Vinegar. Why the vinegar?
Well, the vinegar acts as a mordant. That's just a fancy word, meaning it helps the dye basically stick to the eggshell, makes the color stronger, more permanent.
Gotcha.
You'll also need strainers or maybe some cheesecloth, bowls for dyeing, and probably a good idea, gloves.
Oh, good call, the gloves. Natural dyes can still stain, right?
Oh, yeah. So, where do we start? Okay, for the red cabbage dye, you chop up about half a head, simmer it in maybe 4 to 5 cups of water for about 30 minutes. That gets the purple pigment out.
Okay.
Then you strain out the cabbage bits and stir in a tablespoon of that white vinegar.
Simple enough. And the blueberries. Similar idea.
Pretty much. Combine a cup of blueberries with, say, 3 cups of water. Boil it, then simmer for 20-25 minutes. The blog suggests mashing them a bit while simmering to really get the color out.
Ooh, okay.
Then, just like the cabbage, strain it, add a tablespoon of vinegar. Done.
So you've got these cool colored liquids. Then it's egg dipping time.
Exactly. Once the dyes have cooled down a bit, you gently pop your eggs in. And the soaking time, that's what really determines the color depth. For lighter pastel shades, maybe 30 to 60 minutes is enough.
Right.
But for those richer, deeper tones, you might need like 4 to 8 hours,
What?
or even leave them overnight in the fridge.
Wow. Okay. And the blog mentioned creating patterns too, didn't it? With rubber bands.
Yes, this is where you can get really creative. Wrap rubber bands tightly around the eggs, or place small leaves or even bits of onion skin against the shell. Then maybe hold them in place with old pantyhose or string before dyeing. Those areas resist the dye.
Oh, I love that. Like a natural stencil.
Exactly. It's a resist.
Yeah.
When you take everything off, you get these beautiful patterns where the shell stayed white or its original color.
That adds such a unique touch. And the final steps.
After dyeing,
carefully take the eggs out, let them air dry completely. And the Paper Flow Designs blog has a nice tip.
Yeah.
Gently polish them with a tiny bit of vegetable oil once they're dry. Oh, what does that do?
It just enhances the natural sheen, kind of brings out the richness of those earthy tones, gives a lovely, subtle finish.
Sounds beautiful. The blog calls it unique and sophisticated, and I can totally see why. Okay, next up. Get ready for some potentially messy fun with the marbleized effect using shaving cream.
Ah, yes, a classic for a reason. It's so simple, surprisingly effective, and you always get these wonderfully unique swirly patterns.
It does sound really easy. Just mix food coloring into shaving cream and roll the eggs in it.
Pretty much, you just swirl some food coloring drops into a layer of like cheap foam shaving cream, then gently roll the egg through it. The cream transfers the color in those random patterns.
So every egg is completely different.
Totally unique. It's really fun to see what you get.
Okay, moving on to something a bit more subtle, but really impressive. Ombre-style eggs. These look so chic.
Yeah, the ombre technique is all about that gradual shift in color intensity. It takes a little patience, maybe a steady hand, but the result is a really elegant gradient effect. Very sophisticated looking.
So the idea is you start light and then dip it further into darker dye, or maybe dip it multiple times.
Exactly. You could do multiple short dips, leaving it in slightly longer each time. Or you could prepare a few bowls of the same dye, but in increasing concentrations.
Right.
Dipping progressively into the darker baths creates that smooth transition from light to dark. It's all about layering that color.
It sounds like a really nice effect, maybe not as hard as it looks initially.
Yeah.
Now, for those of us who love a bit of sparkle, glitter and glam eggs.
Yes, time for some bling. This is where you can really inject personality and, well, just fun into your Easter decorating.
Yeah.
And like the Paper Flow Designs blog points out, getting that glam look with glitter is actually surprisingly easy.
It really is. The steps seem pretty basic. You need your eggs hard-boiled, or even those plastic craft ones.
Either work.
Some craft glue, like Mod Podge maybe, and of course glitter. Lots of fine glitter and fun colors.
And definitely a small paintbrush for the glue. And something to catch the fallout, a shallow bowl, plate, wax paper. It helps contain the sparkle explosion.
Yes, glitter containment is key. So first step, just brush on a thin, even coat of glue.
Right, or as the blog suggests, get creative. Apply the glue in patterns, stripes, dots, swirls. You don't have to cover the whole egg.
Ooh, nice idea. Then the best part, sprinkle generously with glitter.
Yep, roll it around, make sure it's covered, then gently tap off the excess. Reveal the sparkle.
And then just let them dry. How long?
Yeah, drying is important. Usually about an hour or two should do it. And a great tip from the blog. You can do another layer of glue and glitter if you want it even more intense, more dazzling.
Oh, double glitter. Good to know. And there's an optional step for sealing it, right? To stop glitter getting everywhere.
Yes, once they're totally dry, a quick spray with a clear craft sealant can help lock the glitter in place. Reduces the shedding, just let that dry for about 30 minutes too.
Smart. The blog also had some cool ideas for jazzing up the glitter eggs even more.
Totally, like mixing different glitter colors together for a cool effect. Or using colored glue, or even dyeing the egg first.
Oh, like a base color.
Exactly, so a bit of color peeks through the glitter. And they suggest mixing glitter eggs with the natural dyed ones in a basket. That contrast would look amazing.
I love that. Using them in a centerpiece would be stunning. Or imagine finding these super sparkly ones on an egg hunt. Okay, next, something really beautiful and delicate. Floral decoupage eggs.
This technique is lovely. It brings such an artistic, elegant touch. You're basically using beautiful floral images from napkins, tissue paper.
Right, like those pretty paper napkins.
Exactly. You cut out the little floral designs and use a decoupage medium, like Mod Podge again, to gently adhere them to the egg. Transforms a plain egg into this miniature work of art.
It sounds so elegant. A great way to use up pretty paper scraps. Lots of creative freedom there.
Definitely. It adds such a fresh, spring-like touch. Really unique.
Okay, for clean lines and maybe some cool graphic designs, let's talk about using stencils and tape. Sounds straightforward but effective.
It really is. Super simple, but gives you really precise patterns. It's that resist idea, again, like with the natural dyes. You just apply tape masking tape, craft tape onto your undyed egg in whatever pattern you want. Stripes, zigzags, geometric shapes.
Wow.
Then you just dye the egg as usual.
And the magic moment is peeling off the tape.
Exactly. You get those crisp, clean lines where the tape was against the dyed background. It's very satisfying.
I bet. A simple way to get a modern look. Okay, ready to get a little wild? How about animal print-inspired eggs? This sounds fun.
This is definitely a fun, unexpected twist. A great way to bring in some bold, playful patterns and make your eggs really stand out from the crowd.
The Paperflow Designs blog suggests mixing prints, like leopard spots and zebra stripes. Imagine a basket of those.
Uh-huh, yeah. They'd definitely be a conversation starter. Adds a real unique, adventurous vibe to Easter.
Totally. Okay, this next one is really clever, very interactive. Chalkboard paint eggs.
Isn't this brilliant? The idea of painting eggs with chalkboard paint so you can actually write or draw on them with chalk.
And then wipe it clean.
Exactly. Endless possibilities, messages, drawings, names.
You could use them as place cards for Easter dinner. And the blog even mentioned making a matching Easter door hanger with chalkboard paint.
That's a great touch. Ties everything together nicely. Very personalized.
Love it. Okay, finally, let's just touch on making the hunt itself a bit more special with interactive decor.
Right. The blog points out how having really visually appealing eggs decorated with these vibrant, engaging designs we've talked about can really amp up the excitement of the hunt.
Especially for kids, right? Makes it more visually stimulating.
Definitely. And simple things, like the blog suggests, placing nice decorative baskets around the hunting area. It looks pretty and gives kids a clear spot to collect their treasures.
Yeah, keeps things a bit more organized too. And remember, everyone, you can find a link to supplies for all these ideas, plus more inspiration, over on the Paperflow Designs blog. That's paperflowdesigns.com.
It's those little thoughtful details that can make the whole Easter experience feel extra special.
Wow, okay, so from delicate watercolors and natural dyes to like full-on glitter and even chalkboard messages, the Paperflow Designs blog has given us such a fantastic range of ways to decorate eggs this year. Really, options for pretty much every style and every level of crafting skill.
Absolutely. And what's great about all these ideas is they really encourage you to experiment, personalize your Easter in creative ways. It's about enjoying the process, bringing these little artworks to life just as much as enjoying the final look.
Well said. Hopefully this deep dive has sparked some exciting ideas for you all to try out. Remember, really, the main goal is just to have fun and create something that makes you happy. Don't forget, you can find links to supplies and more details over on the Paperflow Designs blog, paperflowdesigns.com. And please do sign up for the Crafting Made Simple newsletter for more creative projects and tips. The link is right there waiting for you in the description below. It's https://birdsend.pageforms981 BLs are yellow, ye festus. Happy crafting, everyone.